One of these three AI models is about to replace the other two, and it's not the one you're using. I know that sounds like hype, but stick with me because the difference between these tools isn't about who's smartest anymore. It's about who actually solves problems you care about. And in 2026, that matters more than ever. Look, 2 years ago, ChatGPT was the only game in town. It was magic. You asked it something and it worked. But now Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini all exist. They're all actually good, and most people still don't know which one to actually use. So I spent the last few months testing all three on real problems. Not just benchmarks, not just the stuff that looks good in a demo. Real work, coding, research, writing, decision-making. And what I found surprised me. Let's start with ChatGPT because that's where most of you are right now. ChatGPT is still the most polished, the most user-friendly, and honestly, it's still the safest bet for most people. It's good at everything. It's not the best at anything, but it's reliably competent. The new version, GPT 4.0, is genuinely fast, and it handles long documents without getting confused halfway through. If you're using it for brainstorming, for quick research, for drafting emails, it works. The ecosystem around ChatGPT is also massive. More third-party apps connect to it. More people know how to use it. That matters if you're not a power user. But here's the thing. ChatGPT is starting to feel like the default choice people make because they don't know there are better defaults for specific jobs. And that's where this gets interesting. Claude, made by Anthropic, is the dark horse. And I mean that literally. It's less flashy, fewer people talk about it. But if you actually use it for writing, for long-form analysis, for anything that requires understanding context and nuance, Claude is often better. Its context window is insanely long. You can throw an entire book at Claude and it will actually read it, understand it, and reason about it in ways ChatGPT sometimes can't. I tested this with a 50,000-word research paper. Claude kept track of the argument the whole way through. ChatGPT got fuzzy. Claude also has a reputation for being more honest about what it doesn't know. It won't confidently make stuff up as much. That matters if you're making decisions based on what the AI tells you. The downside, Claude's interface is less polished. It's slower sometimes, and the pricing is less transparent. You're not always sure what you're paying. But if you do work that requires depth, if you're a writer, a researcher, a strategist, Claude might be the one you should actually be using. Then there's Gemini, Google's AI. This is the one people sleep on the most, and I think that's a mistake. Gemini has real advantages that nobody talks about. First, it's integrated into Google Workspace. If you live in Gmail, Docs, Sheets, that's a huge deal. You don't have to copy-paste. You can just ask Gemini to draft an email, and it's right there. Second, Gemini's multimodal abilities are genuinely ahead of the curve. You can throw images, PDFs, charts at it, and it processes them better than the others. Third, and this is the kicker, Gemini can actually access real-time information. It can look things up on the internet right now. ChatGPT can't without an extension. Claude can't do it at all. If you need current information, Gemini wins immediately. The problem with Gemini is that it's still not as refined as the other two. It hallucinates more. It's overly cautious sometimes, refusing to do things the others will do. And Google's track record with AI is mixed. They built Bard. They killed it. They rebranded it to Gemini. That creates a trust issue. So which one actually wins in 2026? Here's my take, and I'm going to be specific because you deserve specifics. If you're a casual user, someone who just wants an AI that works and doesn't want to think about it, ChatGPT. It's the safest, it's the most accessible, and it's good enough. If you do any kind of serious writing, research, or analysis, Claude. Full stop. The context window alone is a game changer, and the quality of reasoning is just better for that category of work. If you live in Google Workspace and you need real-time information, Gemini. It's not the best at pure reasoning, but it's the most integrated and it's the most connected to the actual internet. But here's what I think is actually going to happen by 2026. People are going to stop using just one. The power users, the people who actually care about this stuff, are going to use all three. They're going to use Claude for deep work, ChatGPT for quick stuff and creative tasks, and Gemini for research and information. That's already what I do. I'm not loyal to one AI. I'm loyal to getting the best answer. The real winner isn't going to be the smartest AI. It's going to be the AI that's easiest to use for your specific problem. And that's different for everyone. Here's what I'd actually do right now if you want to stay ahead of this. Try Claude for 1 week. Just 1 week. Do your actual work in Claude instead of ChatGPT. See if you notice a difference. I bet you will. And then you'll know whether you're the kind of person who needs it or not. The reason I'm telling you this is because most people are still using ChatGPT just because it was first, not because it's actually best for what they do. And that's leaving value on the table. If you want to keep up with this stuff, because it's changing faster than you think, subscribe. I test these tools constantly, and I'll tell you what actually works, not what the marketing says works. Hit subscribe, and you'll know which AI to use before your competitors figure it out.